time out to join us here today for participating in this discussion and hearing a diverse point of views, expert opinions, and again a huge round of applause for the institution for bringing in a distinguished panel of experts. And I'm really grateful that I'm having this opportunity as a clinical psychologist to be interviewing and to moderate this discussion with all of you. And to begin and dive straight into the topic, the heart of the topic, that is screen addiction. I would like to start from my extreme left and with you, Hussain sir, and if you could share with us the effects of addiction or the effects of addiction and technology use, and what kind of ill effects are you seeing from your lens?
Thanks for being on this panel, Mr. Paul. On the topic of impact on individuals, kids or adults, I think the impacts are high. It may not be affecting everyone every day, the way we see it, but like crowd, when you go to crowd, then you go to a big market, which is crowded, you have a hazard of getting bugged on the way. Same way, we are only on a digital crowd right now. All of us who connect on devices, laptops, your smartphones, at home and outside, you are connected on a digital crowd. The probability of you getting hacked means bugged, frauded is not very high, but it's always there for everyone. The impacts are very high in terms of the people who are going to impact you are going to target your vulnerability of this. So the weakness of your addiction, weakness of your being open to get exposed to the thing which they want to do it, your creativeness on the activity, also the impact afterwards. I know the cases where one of my colleagues although he was IT industry, his family got fully. For a month they were the phones and the wireless and everything was had of them. The impact on the family as a mental health and the impact in terms of psychology is high because the three kids, parents, grandparents, all were bugged. The impact on terms of monetary factors, you get everyday messages, you win the lottery, you got an award, you get a credit card, you get everyday phone calls for renewing your insurances. And all these will lead to you in terms of getting to a link or a phishing mechanism on this where you can go and get exposed. Now for adults, I think the maturity is coming in. Regulators, RBI or banks and everyone getting awareness. So the point of vulnerability comes in the picture of the kids. Kids they don't know or we don't tell them. So the impact to them is very high and highly exposed to them. The question which remains on this panel and for you all of you was also including me. How do we ensure that the security goes to them also in terms of awareness, in terms of applying the critical thinking of using the technology and rightfully the common sense. And common sense is not something for digital world. What we use earlier for our physical world, how do you use for digital world of that? So that's a summary of that.
Right. Thank you so much. And in fact, Mr. Hussain has been very kind to bring with him a few important, frequently asked questions around cybersecurity, as he's a cybersecurity expert and working in the technology domain. His points were quite in line with what dangers are there through the mindless use of technology, or if we are not understanding technology effectively, what are the dangers that our children or ourselves are susceptible to. So do take a copy with you when you leave this room today. Thank you, sir. And if I may move to Dr. Alka, Sneha, sorry. And Sneha ji, you're a dietitian and a nutritionist. So what is your perspective on addiction and its effects?
I would like to mention there are three major nutrition directly and negatively affects dietary habits. The first very important point is whenever I explain diet plans to my patients, the very first point that I stress upon is mindful eating. So I always tell them chew slowly and eat mindfully. Mindfulness is the art of presence when you art of presence when you're having your meals. So that's how you eat mindfully. When you're totally present, you are receptive to the kind of meals you are having, and that is much more important than even your allocation of carbs, proteins, fats, everything. Because if mentally you're not able to be receptive to your food, that's going to affect your absorption of nutrition. So when you're in front of the screen, you tend to eat mindlessly. Your brain is so distracted that what is in front of you and how much is in front of you, you're not really aware of that. And then you end up overeating, which leads to obesity and most of other lifestyle diseases. Now, second point being, when you're in front of the screen and eating, you tend to slouch, hunch over. Now, that's going to press our organs of the body. That's going to put pressure on our digestive system. Again, a bad digestive health will lead to acid reflux, constipation, IBS, and a lot of other digestive issues. Then that again causes a lot of other digestive and chronic diseases as well. The third and a very important point being a bad digestive health, a bad digestive system gives rise to bad gut health. Now, 95% of serotonin, that is the good mood hormone, is manufactured by our gut. So, a poor gut health is going to have we're going to have problems with our mood swings, mental health. If we have a poor gut health, that's going to obstruct a reception of proper nutrition, vitamins and minerals, and we're going to experience all these nutritional deficiencies as well because our gut is not strong enough to absorb those nutrition. And because the serotonin manufacture is going to be low, that's going to affect our mood, that's going to affect mental health, feeling of depression, anxiety, and so many other things. So you can just see there's a strong connection of mental, physical, dietary, all these habits when it comes to overuse of screen time.
Right. Overuse of screen time leads to mindless eating, and that leads to poor gut health, resulting in mental health issues.
It's a very logical cycle.
Logical. Thank you, Sharon. And if I may move to Dr. Alka, and if you could answer the question from your perspective.
So thank you so much, the school and you and everybody, all my panelists. Thank you so much for participating. I first want to congratulate each and every parent here who's showing the hunger and the learning they want to do. How many parents are there? Wow. So I really appreciate all of you coming here early in the morning today. A big round of applause to you. No need to clap because it's a big stuff here, but I really appreciate each and every one of you. I'll give you two scenarios in my clinic. In my reception, when I'm sitting inside and I'm consulting with a patient, what I see outside I'm going to tell you. You tell me which one is the right one. I see a mother with a baby. The mother may be the patient, the baby may be the patient. It could be anybody. And she's trying to talk to the baby, tell her a story, and try to keep her quiet or distracted. There is another man who is busy on his phone, and he gives another video game for his child to play, and he keeps himself busy. You have both the scenes in front of you, and you can judge where I'm going to. Which one is better? Obviously, you know which one is better. In my own house, I have a grandchild who is 1.5 years, and the thing which was told to me was that we are going to give the phone or the screen only for feeding time. How much is the feeding time? Guess for yourself. Each father has a fixed feeding time. I want to tell one that the brain of a baby grows maximum, it doubles in volume in the first 3 years of life. So all of you who are having little children or who are going to have little children, because they are all very young parents, and we are dealing here with the Alpha generation today. The Alpha generation is born not with a silver spoon, but with the spoon of the internet in their mouth. And when we expose them, I think if we don't expose them, they automatically going to get exposed. It is not that we have to control their screen time, we have to control our own screen time as being models of what we want to show to them. How many of us are taking our children to the garden to play? I remember as a child, every Sunday, we used to go, my parents used to invite someone home for dinner, lunch, or we used to go to some friend's house for dinner, lunch. We didn't have phones. My friend said, Mama, you didn't have phones, so you can talk all these things. I'm just saying that having a physical time with our children is going to help us in a very big way. So please start learning stories, read Panchatantra, read whatever you want to read shlokas, read whatever you want, and take your children out, play with them, learn some very interesting games according to the children's age. And you people are, I think, the parents of little older children, the alpha generation, really want to talk to you. They really want a direction in their life. If we don't talk to them in a condescending way, follow? I see a smile on your face, man. So, you see, there's a way to talk to children also. We cannot say, that's not going to work. Pravachan is not going to work. When we become friends with them and we talk to them in a friendly way, only then it's going to work. So, let's be very, very mindful of what conversations we're having with our children. That is the best way to take them away from the screen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Alka. That's the third speaker on the panel who is specifying on or talking about mindfulness and being mindful. The first speaker spoke about mindful awareness, right? And what is the technology that we're dealing with and how do we secure ourselves amidst that. Second spoke about how do we mindfully eat while moderating the use of technology. And ma'am, you also insisted on us being mindful as parents and and setting the right example in as parents. So if we learn the art of screen moderation, I think the diametric opposite of our talk would be screen moderation. Screen addiction is the topic. Screen moderation becomes what we're after, right? So if it's moderation that we're after, then it starts with the parents from there. It gets imbibed amongst children as well. So Dr. Aditi, you being a psychiatrist and you've interacted with a lot of people through these years. If you could share, what is the impact that you've seen of screen addiction? Also, a little bit about the various names that we can give to, like internet use disorder or something. If you could elaborate on that, it would be great.
So, I'll tell you year-wise how this screen addiction, internet addiction proceeds, right? So, today's generation, we call it, they are digital natives. They're born in this, these years where digitalization has become so widespread. Everybody is on the phone. We have everything. Just we have to tap one. We can get whatever we want and just one tap, isn't it? So keeping them totally away from mobile phones or screens is not really realistically possible. Okay, but what happens is we introduce the phones a lot sooner. I would say a 6-month-old infant, because he is creating trouble for you to manage, you hand over phone. कि मुझे कुछ काम करना है, you can see the phone for the time being. So it starts like that. For 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you hand over the phone. The child would listen to Coco Melon, the child would listen to nursery rhymes, and that is the way it starts. Then there are children who would be having trouble eating properly, and you feel they have to take the entire meal. So what you do? You make them sit in front of the screen and you start feeding them. So they don't learn how to regulate. They are mindlessly eating again. So they don't know where to stop, when to stop, what is the right quantity. It begins from there. That results in obesity at a later stage. You feel my child should be chubby, should be eating properly at that point, and you start feeding him that way. So this results in double problems. That is, the weight gain and obesity also becomes an issue later, and the introduction to screen at such an early age also impacts the child in many ways. Most important thing is speech delay. We get a lot of children, 2 years, 3 years of age, and they're not speaking. So they would just say Baba, Mama, Dada, which is supposed to be said by an 8 or 9-month-old baby. And now why is this happening? Why is there speech delay because of screen? Most importantly, what happens is the interaction that we have with our kids that is being replaced by the screen. Please understand that. The quality time that you spend with your child speaking, speaking, understanding what he is trying to say, that is entirely replaced by the screen. And when the environment is not that stimulating, in the sense there are no exchanges between the parents and the child, speech delay also occurs, the emotional bonding also suffers. So you must have noticed many a times what happens is children come to you. They come from school, they come to you, they want to talk to you. But you are not available really. They would start speaking something, you would be in your phones. You would not even, you would say, and just leave it there. So, it is very important for them. It's just barely 1 minute talk they want to have with you, but you really don't have time that time. Or you will say, "Arey, chalo joote nikalo pehle, haath pair dho lo." But what is the problem if you spend 1 minute of your time and understand what the child is trying to say? It might be a simple thing like, I just saw a caterpillar or butterfly on the tree. It was had these colors. So these are the small things that children want to share with you, and it is our duty as parents to indulge, speak with the children in the ways they want you. Just lecturing, just telling them ऐसा करो, वैसा करो, ये करो, वो करो is not going to really work. So, and this cycle is going to repeat. आज आपको आपसे ऐसा कर रहे हैं कि they are trying to share and you are not giving them time. Tomorrow when you speak to them, they will be addicted to their phones and they won't even look at you. So, these are the small things that we need to understand. Okay, so it begins with this YouTube, songs and all that. Gradually, as the child grows, as the child becomes 6 or 7 years old, he would be introduced to the games that we have in our apps, in our phones. Gaming start with that gradually. Gaming, फिर ये थोड़ा सा videos देखना. And after 10 or 11 years old children हैं, तो उसके बाद introduction to porn is another important thing that we need to understand. So this, if you just give over your phone unsupervised to the child, all these things are going to occur in stages. 1 साल बाद, 2 साल बाद, this is going to happen. So the most important thing I feel is delay the introduction of phones, screens as far as possible. Supervise थोड़े time के लिए, half an hour, 1 hour के लिए, you give your phone, that is a different thing. But giving a separate phone to the child as early as say 9 or 10 or 11 years of age is really harmful for the child in the long run. That is one. These days parents, they feel, my child is so tech oriented. He knows a lot of stuff. He can do this, he can do that on the phone. Understand one thing, this does not reflect the intellect of your child. This reflects the intellect of the software maker who has done this, the app developer, who has made this so child-friendly, so easy to operate that even 2 and 3-year-old children can operate. It has nothing to deal with the skills that your child is learning at all. In fact, your child is going to suffer academically, his executive performance is going to go down, correct? And if he is into a lot of gaming, he is going to have anxiety, depression at a later stage. Secondly, the social skills. If a child is too addicted to the internet use, he is not going to develop those social skills because he is merely not interested in interacting with the outside world. He is caught up in his own gaming or social media use or the virtual, all the virtual things like Facebook, Instagram, putting up pics, and all these things come up. So he is going to lack the social skills. And then we see a lot of patients who come at 18 and 19 years of age having social phobia. They are not able to mingle with the peers of their age. and they face a lot of such issues. So these are all the ill effects that we have with screen addiction. Now, what is the ideal time? That also we need to understand. So what we recommend is that up till 2 years of age, absolutely no screens. Now, a lot of mothers would be saying it's difficult for you to, it's easy for you to say, but to put it in practice is very difficult. But then, I also want to tell everyone that the onus of just raising a child is not only on the mothers. Other family members also have to chip in. It's equally the responsibility of the father to look. What happens is, mother tells the father to look after the child when she is busy preparing some rasoi, and the father just, he offers the phone, ki ab dekh lo 5-10 minutes. That is the usual scenario I find in a lot of houses. The responsibility of child rearing is totally put on the mother. Whenever they come to the clinics also, there would be a lot of people saying ki, she's not able to manage. But it cannot be done. It is physically impossible for one woman to be looking after the child who is going all around the place and doing the kitchen work also. So family members also have to chip in. It is a joint responsibility. Blame game is not going to work. तुमने ऐसा किया, तुम नहीं जानते थी, मैं नहीं जानता, is not going to, it is not going to address the problem. We need to find a solution. So collaboratively, the entire family needs to work, and most importantly, parents also need to understand how much they are into internet use and screen use. So if it is like you are spending 5 or 6 hours just scrolling videos and doing all sorts of Facebook, Instagram and such things, or mindlessly scrolling reels, then the child is observing you. And he is going to behave exactly the way you are behaving. Because children tend to internalize your value systems, your morals, your ethics. And more than saying, they emulate what you do. So, तुम छोटे हो, तुम नहीं ये कर सकते, but मैं कर सकता हूँ, is not going to work. So that discipline has to begin with the parent, and then it will percolate down to the child. And unfortunately, when I see a lot of patients, they come to us as if the child is a problem. Most of the times I tell you, the child is not the problem, the parenting is the main issue. How many of you tell me when a child is throwing a tantrum, when a child is very young, how many of you just give away the phone, dekh lo, YouTube dekh lo, shant ho jao, tamasha nahi chahiye, isn't it? So this is the way, this is not the real way to handle tantrums. Every child will have a tantrum till he is emotionally more mature, till 6 or 7 years of age, he's going to throw tantrums. But if you neglect it, if you don't, if you ignore it, he'll overgrow it. But we want a quick fix to everything these days. We are not patient enough to handle these things. We just give away the phones. And then the child learns कि मैं तमाशा करता हूँ तो मुझे जो चाहिए I get it. So he resorts to the intensity of tantrums goes up day by day. So we need to understand all these things, and the efforts have to begin with the parents. The onus is on the parents, and understand you are a parent, you are not a friend. Speaking in a friendly way with your child is important, but you are not a friend. You are a parent, you are in a position where you have to exercise your parental control. Limit setting has to be there, boundary setting has to be there. So 2 hours of, I would say, half an hour to 1 hour of screen use for children between up to say 7 years of age. Not more than 1 hour. Not more than 1 hour of use. For children who are from 7 years to up to 16 years of age, 1.5 hours is what is recommended, nothing beyond that. And beyond 16, it would be 2 hours. Not more than 2 hours. Apart from your work, I mean, what I am saying is about entertainment, what you are doing. Correct? So, this is what it is.
Thank you, Doctor. I think it's very important to understand here that addiction is a mental health crisis. It's a social crisis. It is having implications to your security, financial security, to the security of your home. It is causing a lot of issues with regards to your lifestyle. It's becoming a lifestyle disorder too. So when we are eating, we're not eating mindfully, and it's very important for us to understand from a mental health perspective that there is a cycle of addiction. What ma'am is referring to here is healthy use, healthy limits, the moderation limit. The healthy use of technology is not a problem at all. Whether it's the use of technology, after COVID, we had to rely on technology. That's how we stayed connected with each other. And we are social beings first, and you also stressed on value system, which I believe is so important. I've had some cases of counseling where the child has more value for the device than the person who gave the device. And who's that person? So who do we value? And what do we value? I think a value-centric approach हमारे parenting में रहना बहुत ज़रूरी है. It's very, very important. And so as a clinical psychologist, I'll just share a 6-stage cycle through which addiction broadly goes through. It could be addiction to your internet, addiction to gaming, addiction to social media, or in general, problematic use of technology. So first is use. Your initial exposure to use. Usage is not a problem. It is the starting point. But when does it become a problem? When it becomes some form of problematic use or a misuse or an abuse. Second stage is abuse, misuse, problematic use. यहाँ पे it's becoming a little more excessive. Then we come to tolerance. Now I have developed 3 hours ka use, problematic use. Now it's not enough, 3 hours is also not enough. I need more. That is tolerance. That's the hallmark of tolerance of any form of addiction, even it could be to substance. So tolerance means you need more of that particular, addiction. And then we come to a place where we are dependent. We can't do without it. You take this away and see what happens. I will not be able to function. That is dependency. That's another level. Tolerance may still one or other day if you take it away, it's fine. But once you set into dependence, I can't do without the addiction. The 5th one is addiction. 5th is the level where now it's a recurring, it's a pattern, it's a long time I have spent in that. Maybe months have gone by, years have gone by, and that's my pattern. That's my preoccupation. And then we come to something called as remission. So I know this is an addiction, I'm coming out of it, trying my best, but then I'm going back to it. So this is a loop, and where do we actually intervene is at the use, and we try to help that the use does not become a problematic use or an abuse or a misuse. So I think if we can invite some questions from the, or if any points you would like to add. One more round?
One line to each person.
Sure.
We can say anything because we want to do 2 or 3 rounds.
Absolutely fine. So if we could start again from Hussain sir.
So we spoke about use, right? Use and overuse. The question to everyone to ask is, who is the customer for Google? Who is the customer for Facebook? You get Facebook free, you get Instagram free, you get Google free. Who is the customer for that? The customer is no one but all of us. So every click which you do there generates some revenue for someone else in the background. So I'm not saying you stop it. There's a good use for that. So the bad part of that, more you are addicted to that, more you are using that, without any, from my perspective, without any proper the right word is firewall between you and the thief, the hacker, right? If you don't use properly on that, you will be vulnerable to the exposure of the impact of that. Second thing is, I would say technology is not going to go away. You cannot avoid it. You have to have it. Proper use is important. Important thing is applying critical thinking in terms of what all we use. Right? example, basically an example, everyone has got Wi-Fi at home, right? Earlier we used to have the initial days, Wi-Fi used to come out with a cable wire, you will have BSN router or FPN router at home, and you will just plug in and start using that activity. You may not have the password for that. Now you have password. Today the technology is actually available to you from your service provider, or reputed service provider. It gives you a possibility to even configure your devices to much more secure in terms of firewall, in terms of your the website you want to block, the website you want to open, the device, how many devices you can have in your home to be connected on that. Everything becomes more available to you. Question is, how do you want to use it? It's like locks. You used to have a door, single door, double door, multiple locks, latch lock, right? How many, what do you call, the rounds of key you want to put in your locks. Those are the factors which you use in the physical world, applied in digital world also. Devices are getting connected. All your devices are getting connected. More you use your smart switches, Alexas, your smart TVs, right? Android TVs, all of them which are IP connected. Every device is called IoT today instead of Internet of Things. But we don't configure every of these things as a secure device on that. And that's why the exposure comes to all of us. So apply common sense before you connect, think, and then apply. That's all I would say.
Thank you again.
One more thing if I should ask you is like everybody is so at this stage everyone is so used to the instant gratification. You know, finding pleasure, short-term pleasure and happiness out of the gadget that we use. That when the gadget is not with us anymore, we really don't know what to do with our time. And you will see most of the children saying, oh, if we take away the gadget from them, they'll be like, oh, I'm so bored. They really have no idea that the thought process is not that what they should do with their time when the gadget is not with them anymore. And also we see that many times we find someone very expressive on WhatsApp and while messaging, but when you meet a person, when you meet the same person in person, the person cannot talk even for 5 minutes. You know, so this is really a limit of addiction that we have reached now, and we need to go back and lead a more healthier lifestyle and a better lifestyle.
What you're highlighting is the social effects that it's having on us.
The dietary effect, I think those that was taken care of. I think this talk of instant gratification.
So I'm not even struggling in Alexa. One of my patients, she came to my clinic and she said, you know doctor, that day I went home and my daughter, she was doing all her homework by looking at Alexa. I said, she was putting the question of her homework, even including mathematics, in Alexa, and she said, do the sum for me, and then all the homework was being done by Alexa. Now, this is just the beginning of the internet. Today we are in the world of artificial intelligence. Forget ChatGPT. You can make videos, movies, stories, each and everything under the sun. So that if you talk about artificial intelligence, it is going to take us with the storm. It has taken us with the storm, and we have to be very careful with our children and with our own selves. First and foremost, I want to congratulate all the fathers over here who are really taking part in the upbringing of their children. A big round of applause to all the fathers over here. Now, today I find that the men, the younger men, so let me tell you one thing. The alpha generation's parents are who? The X generation, the generation X, which are all in generation X. And these are the parents who are very much interested in the upbringing of the children in a very, very healthy way. You know everything. Why the child gets addicted is dopamine spikes. Somebody says yes to the child, somebody says something nice to the child, somebody whatever happens, there's a dopamine spike. Then you want more spike, then you want more. You know dopamine, no? Dopamine is an anticipation hormone, and you feel happy, it just gets secreted in your mind, in your body. It's a brain neurotransmitter. It gets secreted in your body and you feel very good. So, this is what causes addiction to the child, number one. Number two, over a period of time, this addiction becomes more and more and more and more, and a stage comes when the child is using this only for his own validation. And that is the worst part of internet and social media. So for you, people who are having elderly children, they let them use it for their studies, obviously we know that. The other question I want to ask each and every one of you is, how many of us are spending time with our own selves. If I say, Shrikant, how much time do you spend with yourself in 24 hours without a book, without an internet, without anything? And let's not hear the answer what Shrikant is telling. He's a very, okay, let us say whatever he wants to say. But all of us have to see to that how much time are we spending with our own selves. That is the time we do introspection. We understand ourselves. We have a conversation with our own selves. I want to congratulate the school today for having this meditation session that they have for the whole school that they put together. And this is a great practice to introduce to children because that will bring them from outside to within themselves. Today we got to savor our life. How many of us are savoring our life? We're all running, eating our food, running here, running there, running there. I know I have gone through this. I've been running all my life. And there was a time when I had 2 children and I was running to catch the train. I didn't have internet, but there was something else in my head what was making me run. And I fell down and I still caught the train and I got a fracture in my foot. I still went to the crash. I still went to work. And when I reached my hospital, I was in Lokmanya Tilak Sai Hospital, and there I was diagnosed with a fracture. And then my mother, she sat me down and she said, where are you running? The question that I asked myself and I ask all of you, where are we running to? Let's sit down and think for a moment, what is our life about? What do I really want in my life? And the most important thing is, are we savoring? You know this water when I'm really watering my glass, no? And my grandchild comes, pulls it from me, and he takes it and he starts drinking like this. He's just savoring it. How many of us savor a mango? How many of us savor our food? How many of us savor a cup of tea in the morning or reading a book? This is the question I want to give you out with. This will stop all the complaints that you had with your own children. When we savor our life, we can help our children to savor their lives and reignite that spark which is there within our children. If our spark is not ignited, we can't ignite that spark in our children. Thank you so much. Sorry for that.
No worries at all. I would definitely love to answer your question, but before that, if we could again hear a short summary from you about what is the takeaway that you want to give to the audience today.
So, what I feel is, how do we keep children away from screens is an important thing I didn't mention in the previous conversation. Firstly, as a family, take some ground rules as a family. That when you're sitting, you will have lunch together, you will have dinners together, you will chit chat at that time, share whatever is going on, and no screens. Then there has to be some no screen zones in your house also, like in the bedrooms. Please avoid use of screens, television in the bedrooms. Create such zones. Spend more time talking to your child. Let them learn from you. How do you spend your time away from internet? That is maybe in a physical activity, some sport activity, or simply playing with friends on ground. So, and understand one thing: it is not your duty all the time to the child is feeling bored, and you feel it's your duty that he should not feel bored. It's not so. It's okay to feel bored sometimes, isn't it? And when children are off their phones, they themselves creatively devise their own plays. That creativity also needs to be triggered. So the onus, I feel, really lies on the parents, and if parents mindfully raise their children, then it would go a long way in rearing the child. Thank you so much.
I think round 1 of the panel discussion was about mindfulness, and round 2 was about taking time, spending quality time, whether it's in within the family or by yourself. Now, as mental health practitioners, it's very important for us to even bust the stigma. Now, we are living in a country where meditation is, there's no lack of avenues for meditation. Approaches are plenty, at least 100 plus meditation centers, and that's good. If the school is also conducting that inward journey, it's very much necessary that spiritual well-being is also an important thumb of overall well-being, right? So, but however, when we identify that there is an addiction, be it screen addiction, gaming addiction, internet addiction, or any other form of addiction in the future, are we going to hush, कुछ नहीं है मेरा बच्चा ठीक है, Or are we going to send them to a specialized space where they can retreat? They can learn new skills. There are retreats, they are called rehabilitation retreats for wellness. And it's up and coming all over the country. The mental health field also is an evolving one. So just like there's no stigma for taking time out from your busy life and going into maybe say a yoga retreat for 15 days or a meditation retreat for 10 days where you're not using your phones. Similarly, there shouldn't be any stigma when you take a step for your mental health and go to a mental health institution. No stigma required. It's for your well-being that you're doing that. So whether it's your own child in the future or it's your neighbors or your families or your friend's child, let there not be any stigma around it. ये ज़रूरी है, ये intervention है, right? Mental health professionals से बात कर पाना is beneficial because of the kind of orientation we have. We don't have any judgments to pass. We understand how the mind functions, the dopamine, and the kind of complexities are studied, right? And that's one of the very important points I feel we should also take into consideration, that there not be any stigma around mental health. And I think at this point of time, if there is any question that anyone in the audience has for either of us, we would be more than happy. I answer the question. So I do take time out to go for meditation retreats, and I believe in the practice that you have to be in meditation throughout the day. There is no meditation like half an hour ritual. Throughout the day you have to you have to live that mindful, meditative life. You're speaking, you're talking to somebody, you're interacting with. Just pay attention. Pay attention. So be present. Yes. So thank you so much for giving me that question. Yeah.
My Lord, you are super smart. You have the best students in the world. I've been to so many schools, but these children I went and day before yesterday, the students that I met, my goodness, they were so young, but they were so smart. And I went home and I was telling my son, "Tujhe nahi pata hoga wo answer question ka." These children they know all the answers. And I was talking only about happiness. And only happiness questions they were able to answer so beautifully. So I really congratulate the school, the principal, all the teachers and the team here. It's a wonderful team here who are training the children and the parents to come forward and have a change of their thoughts and make them believe in themselves. And I like the way the parents have come today. I've been to so many schools, man. Hardly any parents come. Hardly 5-6 people will come, but I really congratulate you and I really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, please answer.
Anyone have any questions for either of us? We would be happy to take them. Yes, ma'am.
I have come for myself and not my child.
Lovely.
Wow. My son is very, very quite okay. He is very well in his education, but I have scoliosis. Okay, so I've been asked to rest. So because of the resting, my usage of mobile has increased because I don't know, like I don't get bored. So how do I resist myself from doing so? I do the household work and I do go out. But whenever there's resting, before in the afternoon or in the night, the doom scrolling is just on. So I want to know, how do I resist myself? What do I tell myself? When do I stop and how many hours do a 50-year-old women
Can I ask a question for you?
Sorry?
There are two things that you can do, which I started doing in your age. And one of the things is start writing.
Okay.
Just write anything that comes into your mind. I write love letters to my husband. I write love letters to each and everyone in my house. I write to myself. I write thank you notes to myself. I write forgiveness notes to myself. That's a great exercise you can do for your own self. And when you do not write anything, just write what happened in the day. When my mom and dad died, I didn't know what to do. I was student at 4 o'clock in the morning. One of my friends is a story writer. She told me to start writing. And I published one book, and my third book is going to be published. It's about happy couples. So happy couples and part of my books. The second thing that you can do is reading. Reading, your books are your best friends. Your friends might committing suicide. Lady, I know the story of this woman. She was almost going on the way. She saw a library. She went inside the library, started reading a book, and she came back and she said, "Okay, I'll finish reading this book, then I'll commit suicide." And she used to come back every day to this library to read the book, read the book, read the book, and then she changed her mind to commit suicide. So reading is a way of changing your mindset and changing your thoughts. So these two things might help you. Listening to music might help you. Learning a new skill might help you. There's so much that one can do. Thank you.
So how many hours do I finish the 1 to 6 hours because I'm like, I have to like set myself like
No, actually, just take your own time. I mean, you have no limitation for time. You can have for 1 hour, 2 hours.
so I'm saying usage of the screen because I'm using it like for about 2.5, 3 hours continuously. I'm just scrolling.
So that's actually done with grades, right?
So how do I start it? Like today just happened. So I mean like even they say I come to 2.5 hours for about a week. Like you want me to do that?
Track your usage, whenever you're using, track the amount of time you're spending online. That is the first step. Secondly, awareness that I need to change this habit. That is the first step towards change. So when you become aware that I need to change, you can change it. Now understand the screen addiction is just like any other substance addiction. So the craving part is going to be there. So you will crave for that time because there's going to be dopamine surge whenever you look at the phone, see the number of likes, or you see the videos that you like, right? So this craving comes in waves. So you will have a lot of craving at one point of time. But after 5 to 10 minutes, that wave simply comes down. It's just like waves hitting the seashore. Correct? So if you are able to manage that, those 5 to 10 minutes, manage to distract yourself with some other fun activity, like I mentioned, reading, writing, or simply talking to somebody at your house, talking to your kids, whatever it may be, then you will be able to overcome that urge to look at your phone again and again. And when you do that consistently for a period of say 2 to 3 weeks, for any habit to form, you require consistency of 21 days at least. Correct? So if you are able to do that, then gradually your screen time will go down and you will enjoy your life in a much better and more productive way. Thank you. That's correct.
One advice from me, delete the app. Delete the app which you're using. Number one. Number two, on the same device, as she said, you have reading habit, right? A writing habit. Every device has got Kindle programmer to read, Google Books to read. So on the same device, you can delete the app which you are connected to, apply not only the Kindle book also. You can apply for Kindle book, podcast, or whatever you want to read. That's the only way. Because the moment you have the app with you, you got to go stop.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
One issue with my child, like why mistakenly he does that. I have been telling him about this mind, but he doesn't listen. Now I'm going to convey your message to him. I will otherwise I'll ask Sarojini ma'am to give a special lecture. It's the posture effects. And then they feel hungry again and again. When it's not required after every half an hour, they're not.
So does he eat his meals while he's on screen? Is that a regular practice?
When he was a kid, no. But okay, especially everything happened more during the lockdown. A lot of screen addiction in our house happened.
Instead of saying don't do this or stop doing this, instead of preaching, I think what we need to do is we need to make them realize the ill effects of using too much of screen time, or make them show the picture of how things are going to be if they do it that way. As I said, screen time can lead to your organs it leads to digestive issues. Digestive issues leads to poor gut health. Gut health again leads to mental health. So when you have the logic, like children these days, they look at logic in everything. So when you know the logic behind not doing this, and what is it that they want to achieve, and how they have to make efforts to achieve what they need to achieve, I think then they probably will stop. Slowly and gradually they make effort of not using screen while eating.
Because he's 15 now,
and many a times we need to be assertive and we need to be very strict about certain rules in the house. So I think this technology and screen time is one of them. So I think even as parents, if we stop doing that, and children are just going to observe us. So first we have to start with ourselves, and then we go on to the kids.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your question. Any further questions? So, I believe I would like to just take this moment to summarize once again some of the key points. Of course, again, a gentle reminder for safeguarding your internet and your cyber security. Please do take this pamphlet that Mr. Hussain has brought with him here today. It talks about also how to educate our children about the use and what are the do's and the don'ts. So that's one. And we all spoke about mindfulness. We spoke about the quality time that we need to spend. We spoke about the stigma that shouldn't be there with regards to all this. Like, ma'am, you've so openly, owned up the ownership of, okay, there is a problematic problem. There is a problem. Let's not ignore any elephants in the room. We don't need that kind of an approach. So we have to be aware. We have to be empathetic, and I would also say that one point that we probably could not cover today because of the limited time is the attention economy under which we are all operating. So we are in an attention economy, and it demands more and more attention. And ma'am, I don't know, but there is definitely a problematic induced ADHD, which is probably on the rise, post-COVID. And we need to be more aware, have more discussions around these topics, keep an open mind, because the solutions are around you as well as inside you. So inside us. So I think thank you for being such a wonderful audience. Yes, ma'am.
So I would like to share my experience here. It's okay.
No, please.
I would like to share my experience here. Being a mother of 12-year-old, as we all used to see, मतलब कितना भी उनको divert कर लो, ये कर लो, वो कर लो, they get bored so easily. Not more than 5 minutes that they can survive on a prescribed so-called medicine कि आप book read कर लो या खेलने चले जाओ या board games कर लो. मम्मा खेलने जाओ तो वहाँ पे भी सारे बच्चे तो आगे मोबाइल ही, अगर गार्डन में भी मिलते तो सारे बैठ के गार्डन के बेंच में बैठ के मोबाइल ही देखते हैं. And then one such thing happens. I used to encourage him a lot for reading, writing. He had this fond of writing since when he was 8 years old. Now he's 12 years old. To my surprise, he started writing. It started his journey, and I'm so proud to announce that today he has published his own book. He's a published author. His books are available on Amazon, Kindle, and everywhere. So the thing is, they have कुछ ना कुछ तो उनमें है, but they get bored so easily. वो आज के जनरेशन का सबका प्रॉब्लम है. Like even for us, अब कुछ भी नहीं है करने का. नाम सेड कि रेस्टिंग पीरियड भी है तो कुछ भी नहीं है कर रहे तो फोमो है, मतलब मोबाइल देख के बिना और क्या ही करें was the thing. जबकि पहले नहीं होते थे फिर भी we used to survive. But फैमिली फंक्शन में भी हम लोग गए तो उनके एज के काफी बच्चे थे, तो आपस में बात करना, मिलना जुलना, एकेडमिक्स डिस्कस करना, नहीं वो सब क्या, सभी लोग तो मोबाइल पे ही है, तो किससे क्या बात करें क्या करें. But then yeah, this is the thing. अगर वो एक हॉबी पहचान के we could encourage them for that, maybe they can create a wonders. Because आजकल के बच्चे इतने ज़्यादा स्मार्ट है, शायद हम लोग तो उस टाइम पे उतने थे भी नहीं. But yes, that was the thing which I wanted to share with you all.
I want to share one thing with you. That is, आपके बच्चे स्मार्ट हैं लेकिन आप उनसे ज़्यादा स्मार्ट हो ये समझो. नंबर 1. Number 2, my parents all their life they were cooking, and actually my mom, what she was doing, I mean I did something value to all of you ladies and gents over here. What she was doing was she was calling people for lunch, and supposing there's a lunch on Saturday evening, she was preparing the lunch menu from Monday onwards. I'm giving you this idea because your mind is busy preparing for something. There's a lot of serotonin being prepared inside your brain. Anticipation hormone is being prepared. Dopamine. ये पुलाव बनाएंगे, ये डिश बनाएंगे, ये खरीदना है. And when the guests are coming, you feel happy to serve them. And there is a time when somebody else is going to invite you. Today I told my daughter-in-law, come on, let's invite somebody for my friends are coming. What shall we prepare? Chole banayenge, bhature banayenge. She says, Mama, don't waste your time. Call Swiggy and call Zomato. Let's not use Swiggy and Zomato. All of you parents, I'm saying, try inviting someone over for lunch or dinner in the evening on one particular weekend and see how happy you feel. And you're saying, क्या करें? मैं क्या नहीं करें? मैं सोचती हूँ कभी-कभी. There's so much to do. Make a list of what all things you can do. You know, my dad used to take me out for playing badminton. How many of us take our children out to show them a game or something like that, or take them out in the morning for a walk? If we get up in the morning for a walk and if we take our children from, even if you're not able to take it in the weekdays, you can take them on Saturday, Sunday. So, how much time are you spending with your own child? How many of you are saying lullabies to your children in the night when they're small? How many of you are saying stories? Why not? How many of you are saying bedtime stories? Start reading Panchatra stories. Tell them the stories from Gita, from mythology. They love to listen to stories. There's so much you can do, yeah. Thank you so much.
For being a lovely audience, and it would be a great honor for either of us to be back here to discuss on any other topics in the future. So, thank you so much.
Any question?
Yes, for the nutrition space. You know, the gummy concepts like calcium gummies, iodine gummies, how healthy is it for adults and for adults?
I think any vitamins or any gummies also you take, it's very important that you speak to your physician, a doctor, before taking any kind of vitamins. Though vitamin B is still water soluble, but then there could be duplication of nutrients if you're taking a couple of gummies together. It's quite possible that you're repeating the same nutrition in every gummy. So it's very important that you consult a dietitian or a physician before you start taking these